Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2019, episode 33. We're here in the middle of season number 8 with a 12-1 record at the end of our non-conference schedule. RPI is 17, and we are ranked at 25th in the nation. Fantastic start to the year, but it's about to get real. We enter the conference schedule now for the first time here in Conference D, where the competition is going to be much higher. So, taking a quick look at the conference on where everyone stands at the end of the non-conference schedule. Virginia moved up with us 7-4 on the season. Xavier at 12-1. Florida State is 9-3. Creighton 8-4. Oklahoma 7-4. Auburn 10-3. UNLV 10-1. West Virginia 8-3. We are 12-1. Butler 9-3. Western Kentucky, one team that is struggling, but only slightly, 5-6. USC 7-4. Wichita State 9-3. Mississippi State, Ole Miss 5-6. LSU 7-6, and Georgia State 5-6. You can see there's a few teams hovering around 500, but there is literally no one in the conference that is, bad. And you look at the home records, right? These teams that are struggling, well, Western Kentucky is 4-4 at home. I like that because our first conference game at Western Kentucky, so the one team that actually has lost a fair bit at home, well, there's hopes for that one. But the rest, 5-2, 7-4 for these guys that are struggling a bit more than others. West Virginia, the only undefeated team at home, at least. A lot of games. Xavier, 11-1 at home. So, RPI, Virginia, Xavier, Florida State, Auburn, UNLV, West Virginia, USC, all top 50, along with us at 17. There's going to be a deep, difficult competition this season. And again, if you didn't see the last episode, teams not quite as good this year. My top 5, I've got one 4-star player, couple 2-star guys. Chris Emery is just 2 stars. And my 6th and 7th are just 2 stars. So I do not have the depth that I've had. We've got Nicholas Davies next year, 4-star guy coming in, but he is ineligible this season, so, hurry up and wait. Nicholas Davies will be joined by Derek Kennedy, Gerald Nicholson, 2 of the higher recruits in the nation. Definitely the guys I wanted to get, the 2 best defensive guys available. Let's start looking at those matchups and see how it's going to be. So, Western Kentucky, 5-5, first game. They are at home, and we are just slight favorites for that game. Oklahoma, heavy favorites. Georgia State, we are slight favorites. Wichita State, this is going to be a tough one. On the road, so they're not that great. So, here's the thing. We are not getting promoted this season, I can tell you right now. It's not happening. What I hope is not happening is relegation. I'd like to stay in Conference D. I'd like to survive this year, get through it. If we don't have big tournament stuff, if we don't make it to the NCAAs, that's fine. 12-1 is a fantastic start, and it's a good chance that we'll have a decent enough record to get into one of the 4 tournaments. But I do think this record's going to come crashing down here in conference, and I really just hope that we, linger around 500. But I'm not even sure we'll pull that off. So first up, Western Kentucky. Let's go ahead and get into that game. And we'll see how we look now against some tougher competition on what we had in our non-conference schedule. Now, it's been close to a week since I recorded that last episode, but I if I remember correctly, we had 4 serious opponents and beat all 4 of them during that non-conference portion of the schedule. And then we were 8-1 against everyone else. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign if we can win those games, if we can pull it off. I mean, just look how young we are. Other than Eric Wynn, we are 2 sophomores, a junior, and a freshman in the starting 5. Here we go. Conference season opener on the road at Western Kentucky. And we get off to a quick start. 5-0 lead, 7-0 lead. Now Western Kentucky is rolling and immediately ties the game. Momentum taken back. At least leveled off. Back to a 4-point lead. A lot of missed shots here early on in this one. Got ourselves a battle early on in this one. 2-point lead. Actually a tie game at about the halfway point for the first. Let's start looking at the stats. So rebounds +3 early on. Turnovers -1 early on. We're not protecting the ball terribly well in this one so far. Both teams are shooting pretty well at or around 50%. Free throws. Neither team getting to the line, just 2 of 2. And 3-pointers, big story here. We are 1 of 5. They are 2 of 13. So neither team doing terribly well in that department. Fouls haven't been a big issue yet, but that deficit in turnovers is definitely keeping this a tight game, where normally we'd be ahead in that department a fair bit. And having an edge in rebounds generally is enough for us, but this is not the same team I've had in recent years. Chris Emery off to a great start, 10 points for him, 4 of 5 shooting with 4 rebounds, and remember that is our weak player in the starting 5. Joey Walters got 9 points on 4 of 6 shooting. I've got 3 players with 2 fouls already, Walter, Kirkland, and Few, basically my entire post group, so we trail by 6 at the half. I just realized that I forgot to turn the game audio down, and that's probably a bit loud for you. That has now been adjusted, and let's get to the second half here. Immediately come out scoring, closing that gap a little bit. It's now 4 points. Rebounds is still +2. That turnovers deficit getting worse at -5. We're shooting 51% from the field, and yet we are down. So that turnovers discrepancy is really hurting us. They're just 4 of 19 from beyond the arc. And if they heat up on that, we will lose badly in this game. It's Anthony Ford who's getting the most points with 16. He's got 4 rebounds, 4 steals. Big performance for him. See, turnovers, no, still -6. Big gap there as we trail now by 8. 11 minutes to go. Leads down to 4 though. Lockwood now 12 points, but he's got 3 turnovers in this one. Russell has 4 turnovers in this one. Fouls. Walter has 4. That's hurting us a lot right now. So he's got serious foul trouble with 6 minutes left to play. Still very much in this game. I'm going to slow it down to ×9 here for the last 5:40. Rebound there by Russell. Moving the ball well. A lot of player movement here. Ooh, we end up settling for a really bad shot. Western Kentucky. Oh, the foul, really? We got them late in the clock and they weren't moving the ball well at all. And all of a sudden, they've got some momentum. I'm going to use a timeout here. 4 minutes to play. And we come out with a score out of the timeout, plus their momentum is gone. Missed shot there. We've got the rebound. We're moving. Good look on that one. Right in front of the basket. Close range, but we miss. And they quickly convert 2 points at the other end. So bad timing there. Again, bad timing on the foul, but we got the steal and quick transition bucket, and it's a 4-point game. 2 minutes to go. Long three. Rebound comes back out there. We've got it. Foul. Movement. Got to the elbow. Cut inside. Draw the foul. We get one. No, it was a 1-and-1, and we miss it. Ouch, that hurts. 5-point game. Again, a good look, but nothing there. Another turnover. So finally, we're starting to turn that one around a little bit. 2 turnovers here in the last few possessions. And it's been their only turnovers of the half. We trail by 3. There's only 40 seconds left in this game. We need to stop here massively. Ooh, quick transition bucket is a 1-point game. 5 seconds. Oh, chance for the winner. Number 13, Russell takes the shot. 3 of 14. Why would he take the shot when he's 3 of 14 with just 6 points? Is beyond me, especially coming out of a timeout. Really, I would not call that play. I would not give the ball to the guy who's really struggling. Emery, 8 of 12. Kirkland, 5 of 6. Walter was fouled out, by the way. So completely blew the chance to win the game on the final shot by putting the ball in the hands of the last guy, other than Wynn, who should have the ball in their hands today. +8 on rebounds. We cut the deficit on turnovers to 2. Both teams shot near 50%. They did start shooting the ball better from 3. So they had 5 makes in their final, 8 to 10 attempts. And we lose the game on a dumb play call coming out of the timeout. Frustrating. And we open the conference season with a loss. Now that was on the road. So I get it. Road is road. Anytime you grab a win on the road is big. Especially when it's a year where you're going to struggle. But that's one that we could have had, should have had, probably needed. And that's a difficult way to start the conference season, as now we're going to be clawing from behind, and we're going to need every win we can get. At least that's the feeling I have. That's the gut feeling I have entering this conference season. This Oklahoma game already feeling like a must win, because if we start off with 3-4 losses in a row, our goose could be cooked already. So come on. Let's see the box score on this one. Big game. They're getting the job done in different ways here. Different trio of players. Nobody major putting up numbers, so. Okay, we got the win. 1-1 in conference, 13-2 on the season. Probably not going to be ranked anymore. We'll see here as the new week enters.
You have new mail.
We actually move up 2 spots. So beating Oklahoma, our RPI drops to 24, and yet somehow we're still ranked. 98-71. We won that game by a lot. Had a halftime lead and just ran away with it in the second half. Points in the paint, 42 of them. Second chance points, 18-1, and fast break, 18-4. They had a lead, but it looks like we took control of the game pretty early on. Joey Walter, much better game from him, 22 points, 9 rebounds, a couple blocks to go with it. Every player had a positive plus minus. Win, plus 19. Thomas Fleming, a plus 20. 5 of 6 shooting for Fleming. 5 of 6 on free throws. 9 boards, including 4 offensive rebounds for him. 15-point performance off the bench. That's fantastic. Shane Kirkland only played 8 minutes and had just 3 fouls. That's a little worrying. Do we have an injury? We don't have an injury. I wonder if it was just a in-game injury that was already, covered by the end of the game, that he was fine. It's a strange one that he would play that few minutes in the game without fouls being the obvious explanation. Unless he literally got 3 fouls like in the first minute of the game and then didn't re-enter until second half. Could have been. Suppose that would be an explanation, right? Alright, let's go ahead and push through our next week. We are on the road at Georgia State. This is one of those potentially winnable road games. We've got Anderson, who gets 15 a game, and Benton grabbing 7.5 rebounds a game. Meanwhile, Wynn, a decent assist total at 4.5. That's relying on some key players for their production. So if we could shut those guys down and give them a bad game, that would make Georgia State beatable. On the national scene, it looks like we're down to 4 undefeated teams. North Carolina, the Tar Heels, Michigan State, the Spartans, Syracuse Orange, and the Duke Blue Devils. Last 4 undefeated teams, and we cannot get that win. So Georgia State comes off with the victory. We are now 0-2 on the road, and our third game at Wichita State. So that's going to be 3 road games in our first 4 conference games. Now the only good news behind that is it'll mean I'll have more home games later on, as the conference schedule is balanced with 8 home, 8 away games. It might not be balanced on opponents, but it's definitely balanced on home and away. It certainly would have been nice to get one of these 3 road games as a victory, though, because opening up at 1-3 in conference, that's gonna be a tall order for coming away with a decent season. Like I said, you can really implode quickly with just a few losses. Oh, but we upset Wichita State on the road. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay.
You have new mail. You have new mail.
70-60, a 10-point victory on the road, +5 in each of the 2 halves. We led the entire game. We led by as much as 16, but they closed that to 10 before the end. Fast break points were level. Second chance points were relatively close, as was points in the paint, though we did have small margins over them there. LaShawn Russell with a huge game, 16 points for him. Still only 3 assists, but 3 steals as well. Here's more normal minutes. Now, Kirkland is never supposed to have a ton of minutes to begin with. He's, 2.5 stars? A little surprised by Emery's minutes as well, but I don't think I really have the backup. Oh, there you go. Russell, just 2 of 5 from the field, but 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Attack the basket. Draw the foul. 5 turnovers, so didn't always work out for him. Actually, a lot of turnovers in the game, 15, but they had 18. 43% to their 37. Only 13%. We only had 2 out of 15 from beyond the arc. That's kind of rough. We were 22 of 40 from 2-point range. But the free throws, big difference. Plus 12 on makes. Rebounds, -2. So we were very close in a lot of ways. But LaShawn Russell's attacking the basket and drawing fouls really having an impact on this game, and Walter being 5 of 6 as well. A couple guys with 9 boards. All right, nice. That was big. That was very big. Like I said, the schedule will technically get a little bit easier. We have 12 games left to play in conference, so it's a long ways to go. But we've already played 3 road games. We'll only have 5 more. We're going to have 7 home games the rest of the way. Hopefully with that balance, we can just about hang on to a 500 record here. That's my personal goal. If we can get to 500 in conference, then I will call that a successful season, even though the school wants me to make the Final Four. But they're not paying attention to the team that I have this season, which is just not of that caliber. All right, so next 4 games here on the calendar, we've got Auburn coming up. They are 12 and 5 now and heavy favorites, even though we are at home. So, ouch. USC, same thing, and that's why I'm saying if we can get to 500, it'll be a bit of a miracle. UNLV, they're 1 behind us in the rankings. This is a really tough stretch coming up, these 4 games. Wow, 10% chance against Virginia. So if we win even 1 game in the next 4, we're going to be coming out better than we realistically should. And that'll throw us off that 500 rate by a pretty good margin. But these are among the 4 best teams in conference. Kind of looking at those early standings. Yeah, Virginia, UNLV, USC, all 3-1. Auburn's only 2-2 so far. So early form suggests that Auburn's actually the most winnable game. We're at home. They're only 2-2 in conference thus far, but it's only 4 games. It's a very small sample size. You have no idea who they played, whether they played more games at home or on the road, or whether they had a balanced 2-2. So there's just, too many variables. Too many variables to determine whether their form is actually hurting or not. But in terms of opponent strength, this set of 4 games is going to be much more challenging than the last set of 4. But we're clearly not too terrible. Huge halftime lead, and Auburn comes storming back in the second half and nearly get the job done. They never led by more than 2. We led by as much as 19. We win by 5. Pretty balanced up here. Emery, big day for him again. 10 points, 7 boards. Wow, look at that. 3 guys with 10. Thomas Fleming off the bench with 14 on 7 of 9 shooting. Got to the free throw line once and couldn't make either one of them. Both teams low 40s percentage-wise. I don't know, in a lot of ways, it's actually kind of hard to see where that victory would have come from. Rebounds, -1. Turnovers, +2. At the end of the day, I guess we outshot them a little bit. We had 10 more field goal attempts. Actually, that seems to be the difference because free throws were neck and neck. They had 1 more make, we had 1 more attempt. Offensive rebounds, there's a big one. 12 offensive boards. But second chance points, we only had 6. So, I don't know. But we won. That's the important part. On the road at USC. Bailey, their top scorer and rebounder, he's going to be tough to shut down. So again, with a target of 500, that means I need 8. 8 wins. That's my goal. USC is only 10-6, but we're on the road. And so far, I've only managed 1 road win in conference, which at least it's 1. And at the moment, we're above 500. I would love it if I were undervaluing the team and that we could do better as we get the win. We get the win, 4-2 in conference now, 16-3 on the season. And we're already approaching that point where
you have new mail.
We could be in some sort of, tournament position here. 84-66. Wow. Nearly identical stat lines, first and second half. We never trailed. Walter, 14 points, 8 rebounds. Lockwood, 14 off the bench. Fleming, again, 11 off the bench. Both of them shot really well. Walter actually didn't have... That's a Kobe Bryant kind of day. I know he's got a lot of fans out there, but this was a typical stat line for Kobe Bryant. Shoot the ball a lot. Make some of them. So, at the end of the day, you still end up with plenty of points, but a whole lot of misses. I think if we were to compare stats, NBA all-time, and somebody might even go and do this and come back and tell me I'm wrong, or they might confirm it, but if we were to compare some career stats of, top scorers all-time, and look at their field goal percentage, Bryant is absolutely among the lowest on that list. Kirkman, nice day, 6 of 8. Let's take a look at some things now. So 4-2 right now. I don't expect it to last anything like that. UNLV, actually, even though we're at home, that's going to be a tough game. But we've pulled off some tough victories so far. The team is resilient this year. I think part of it is I do have a good defensive group. I'm getting to that point where pretty much every single recruit that I'm bringing in is good on defense. And that's starting to have an impact on kind of the long-term sustainability of the team. Even when we're not looking that great, having a down year, having a young team like this. Ole Miss is dropping off the pace, 0-6 for them. A lot of 3-3 teams, so it's tough. It's balanced. 3 ranked teams, and we're one of them. I don't expect that to last much longer, but we are certainly on the upper end of the league right now. But, looking at those scouting reports, I don't think that it's going to be sustainable long term. We'll take a look at the roster here real quick before we continue on. I want to see if I have anybody to worry about. Lockwood, who is just a sophomore. That's a little worrying, that GPA. So I'm going to go ahead and have Lockwood focus on his academics a little bit. Study more for the next month. And let's get you a tutor as well. There we go. School first, bud. School first. Duke, the last undefeated team now. This whole, top 3-4 divisions beating up on each other really does start to impact the sustainability of the undefeateds or 1 or 2 lost teams. And I like that. I definitely do like that it's a beat 'em up league. Here's a tough matchup. Number 22 ranked Olympic Decathlon. Number 24 ranked University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The Running Rebels. When I was in college at University of Oregon, one of the grad students who was leading a lab did their undergrad work at UNLV, and I remembered having a conversation with her about how she never attended sporting events until she was at U of O because there was nothing much happening at UNLV in that department. The ironic thing was that happened to also be the one of 2 years in the last 25 that Oregon has had a losing season in football. And basketball was decent that year. We won the game, by the way. 10-point victory. Strong second half performance. Points in the paint very much their favor. Fast break points, we got slaughtered. We never trailed in the game, which is a miracle, especially with a 2-point halftime lead. So Walter had 21. Russell had 21. Russell was player of the game. balanced stat line there. Turnovers definitely down. Wynn had 4. 13 overall. Actually, they had 11, so we were a -2. Both teams better than 50% from the field, so this was an offensive showing. Looks like the free throws, huge difference though. They were 10 of 16. We were 26 of 28. And +10 on rebounds. And 4 fewer fouls committed. So that's where that came from. That's good. That is really good. Dang, we're 5-2. Virginia coming up, 11-7. The in real life now defending national champion, Virginia Cavaliers. In game, a competitive team that has done a bit of rubber banding up and down through these top divisions. That magic mark, 8 wins. We're not so far off from that now. Could we possibly get 10? We'd have to go 5-4 the rest of the way. I think if we win this game, we certainly could get to 10. No, 5-3. So, the harder stretch, these 4 games, we nearly go 4-0, but we still come off with a very good 3-1 stretch
You have new mail.
through these 4 games. 5-3 now in conference, 17-4 on the season. And it looks like we lost a close one. No, 57, not 67. So, big halftime deficit. Trailed the entire game. Just never got it going. Got Creighton up next. They are 10-10. They've lost the last 2. 58% chance. Mississippi State, they're just 5-12. Last I checked, they had not won a conference game. We're the favorite there, so we really could come away with at least a couple wins here. Florida State, that's going to be tougher. Xavier right on top of the league. So 2-2 would be good over the next 4. Nobody in the top 30 players, no surprise by that, but it's Marquette's center who is the favorite to win the award this season. Marquette's certainly a good program, but that's big for them to have potential player of the year. And they're only ranked 17th. We're still ranked by the way, 21st. So is UNLV. Xavier's still up there. So yeah, if we go 2-2 in the next 2, well, that puts us one win shy of where we need to be on the season anyway. And that would put us at 19 wins overall. And that'll just about be enough to secure both our future in Conference D and some sort of tournament bid. 19 wins, that pretty much will do it. 17 already, getting awfully close to, CBI, CIT, NIT, something. I don't think we're at the NCAA tournament level just yet. So Walter leading the conference with 1.9 blocks per game. It's a nice stat line. Kirkland 1.8 steals per game in second in the league. Not on top in the rebounds. That I wish we had. Definitely not on top in assists either. All right, so Creighton, a beatable team here on the road, but it's a road game. We know how road games are. Nothing's ever guaranteed on the road. Come on. It's stealing those road wins that are going to be so big for us this season to make it through. And we get this one, 6-3 now. But James Hampton. James Hampton with the broken arm. Looks like that's a 10-point victory. Yeah, 83-73. Done in the first half. Never trailed. Hampton, only a 2-minute guy, deep on the bench, out for a month, but that does hurt our already thin depth chart a little bit. Emery, 20 points. So I think we'll be okay without Hampton. First injury of the year. Bound to happen at some point. Mississippi State, 7-13. Last I saw, they were last place in the league, and we are at home. So this one should be a victory. Walter, 14 points a game. Russell's getting almost 5 assists per game. Walter's getting 7.5 rebounds per game, so he's been huge for us, plus in the blocks department as well. Kirkland helping out in the steals department. Difficult post area for teams to compete with. Amazingly, it's our offense that's been really good at 82 points per game. Even though it seemed like it's our defense that's been pulling us. But we're scoring the ball well. Rebounds are good, but not huge. Steals have been massive. 9 a game. 7-3. 19-4 now. We got the victory we needed. Said that the next 2 games, it'll be difficult to get any kind of win in those. Massive victory here, so total blowout. So we're not as bad as I think. And that's good. Like I said, I'd rather be hard on myself and then be pleasantly surprised than hugely disappointed in the team. And at this point, it's looking increasingly likely that our future is secure here in Conference D. I still don't think we're on our way to promotion this season. I'm definitely not going to start. Wow, Kirkland, 22 points for him. That's the first time I've really seen him have a great scoring game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings now. We are on top, 4-way tie at 7-3. But you can also see there's 4 teams just a game behind us. Thins out a little bit after that with just 2 teams at 5-5, 2 teams at 4-6. But yeah, the drop zone 3-7. We're 4 games clear of them with 6 to play. That's why I think we're relatively secure in that point. But the next 2 games are going to be tough. Florida State on the road, they're only 5-5, but they win. They go 6-5. We drop to 7-4, and suddenly we're only a game apart. And then we've got to play Xavier, and that's not looking like a likely victory either. So go Ducks. How are we looking? So Michigan State, number 1 in the land right now, 23-1. Duke somehow, they've still only had 1 loss. They've only moved up 1 spot above Syracuse. And North Carolina, who was number 1, have taken 3 losses in their last, 5 games? And they're still ranked number 2 in the nation. Alright, so I'm going to power through these last couple games here. At that point, we'll call it an episode. We'll then pick up with 4 to play in conference. We'll see how secure we are. That's a loss. Not surprised by that one. 10 points. Yeah. Played well for a half, just couldn't keep it going. Back and forth for probably a half, but we do drop that game. And now we've got to go to number 15 Xavier on the road. They are 20-4. They are the conference leader. This has been different than most years. The rankings have changed very little week by week, so they seem to know who's who. I like that this far into the season, we've still somehow kept ourselves on the edge of the rankings throughout the conference schedule. And again, played relatively well, 7-4, but a loss here will bring us to 7-5, and that's a lot closer to that 500 mark. But we'd only have to go 1-3 in the final 4 games to get to that 8-8, which was ultimately my goal. A win here at Xavier, though, would be massive for the team. I'd actually like to watch the game, but don't have the time. I'm already a couple minutes over for the episode. So I'll have to stick with the sim. Probably 7-5 here. All right. Well, hey, that is a fantastic way to end the episode. We end with a victory at number 1 in conference, ranked Xavier.
You have new mail.
And we win by 17. Big first half. Strong second half. Looks like we were tied right at the beginning of the game, probably 2-2, and then never trailed. Russell, 17 points, 9 assists today. Really distributed the ball well this time. 3 steals for him. Emery was a -5. Thomas was a -2. Hampton playing with a broken arm. It was only 1 minute, but dang, son. Playing through that. Fleming was a +23 though, and had the best plus-minus of anyone, 12 points. So Fleming's been fantastic off the bench for us. 6 of 10 from the free throw line. Eric Wynn was 4 of 6. That's not a good percentage though for free throws, especially compared to them. But we were 56% from the field. They were 36% from the field. So defense getting the job done today. Knocking off Xavier, coming away with really a surprise win for us, as I thought there was very little chance of getting that one. I mean, that was the best team in conference. So as of right now, UNLV, Virginia, 9-3. We are 8-4 and 8-4, along with Xavier, who we just beat to come level with. There's still just a couple teams a game behind, but now with 8 victories and 4 to play, I think our future is secure here in Conference D, and we still have a small chance of promotion this season. Really, with this team, what an accomplishment that would be. I don't expect it to happen. I think we might still be in Conference D a year from now, but we've got 3 home games in the Final 4, and Western Kentucky, Oklahoma, and Georgia State are certainly among the more winnable games. 3 or 4 at home. I mean, maybe. It could happen. West Virginia beat Kansas on the road by 15. And they beat Auburn. Auburn was ranked 25th there for a little bit. So, yeah, that's... And Western Kentucky just 4-8 in conference. Oklahoma 5-7 in conference. They have lost to every ranked opponent they've played this season. Georgia State 6-6. They beat us last time we played. That was that home loss too. So, oh no, that was a road loss. They were at home for that one. But they did beat us last time we played. Alrighty, well, that was a surprising end to the episode. 20-5 on the season, 8-4 in conference. We're playing well, much better than what I expected, and we definitely could win at least a couple of these final 4 games. And now we're in for a small shot anyway at promotion this season. Dang. But hey, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.